Live at 1, I'm Edith Kimani. A section of MPs from Turkana are now faulting the government on the way it is handling the killing of 40 police officers in Baragoi that left the country shocked on the current security situation. They want the government to consider flying the flag at half-mast in honor of the police officers who died in the line of duty, and they are now taking issue with the president's order to deploy the military to pursue the bandits, saying that this is not the way the country's security should be handled.
Why would ill-prepared security personnel be sent to a harsh area that is known to be notorious for cattle rustling and where we have had fatal incidents before? What role did the Office of the President play in this? This matter requires further investigation. The lives and property of every Kenyan citizen is as important and must be fully protected. We are demanding that the Kenyan flag be flown at half-mast in honor of our fallen security personnel and other Kenyan citizens. If we can do this, if we can fly the flag at half-mast for government ministers who die in the line of duty, why not for Kenyans who have served their country diligently?
We want a joint operation, a peaceful operation, and let's take the Uganda case, where we have a peaceful operation that involves the public and people are aware. We do it jointly as IGAD. But if you disarm the Turkana, the way you want to do it, I mean, this is what is now beginning. And you are not doing anything to the Samburus.
The Pokots.
And the Pokots.
And the Boranos.
Then it means you want to exterminate the Turkana population.
Well, that's a developing story whose details we'll continue to give you as the bulletin in our subsequent bulletins. In West Pokot County, however, 4 girls have been admitted to hospital after they were forced to undergo female genital mutilation. The 4 were part of 7 pupils of Seneto Primary School who got circumcised on Tuesday during a secret rite. Here are the details. Low murmurs break an awkward silence in Seneto Village, Pokot County. Senior Sergeant Milton Chesebe and Chief Matthew Chesepar are talking with 2 of 5 parents arrested for forcefully circumcising their girls. Even if the girls had agreed to it, the practice has been banned for more than a decade in the country.
Walitairisha watoto 7, tukaenda tukashika suspect watatu ni wanafunzi ya shule, 4 ni drop-ups ile waliwacha shule. So niko na suspect 6 kwa custody yangu cell.
At Chepareria Hospital, the 4 girls who were rescued received counseling from Teresa Lokichu. She is a community leader here and she has dealt with numerous cases of FGM in the region. Despite the obvious risks, this county continues to conduct the practice openly. Data from the Kenya Demographic Health Survey estimates that 80 to 90% of the women in this county have undergone the practice. Police say there were 3 other girls who were sneaked out of the scene, although they are still looking for them and their parents. Kenyan laws have banned FGM, but the practice is still rampant and popular, especially within pastoral communities where girls may even demand to be circumcised on account of culture. Those who still practice FGM argue that it is as much a culture as naming a child after their grandparents. The Treasury has been urged to establish police station rehabilitation development funds to facilitate quality service delivery by the police. This is one of the recommendations contained in a report dubbed Communities and Their Police Stations, released today by the Usalama Reforms Forum. Now, handing over the report to the police spokesperson, Eric Kiraithe, the Usalama Forum chairman, Peter Kariuki, pointed out that the ongoing police reforms would change the police from being a force that protects the regime to becoming a service to the people of Kenya. The report, based on a study carried out on 21 police stations in Kenya, reveals that most of the police stations are housed in dilapidated structures that were built way back in the 1950s that no longer provide sufficient space for efficient operations.
Give the gentleman good time to take a good picture of you. Yes. Thank you so much for your cooperation and partnership in this report. And this is another step towards the transformative and formative agenda of the National Police Service. Thank you very much. We are so glad that the police service has opened up, has shown great willingness to work with actors such as Usalama and others, working hand in hand towards its very noble goals.
The beat and patrol officer in Lavington and the beat and patrol officer in Kibera, even in our current situation, do not react and respond the same to the members of public. And therefore, whereas we shall need a lot of training, and a lot of that has started, to ensure that police officers are not prone to stereotypes, especially because you must also police Kibera. You must provide services in Kibera. And therefore, if you have an attitude that poor people tend to be more criminals and you become more rude to them, then your capacity to serve that community, your capacity to meet the objectives and to execute the mandate of the National Police Service will be seriously compromised.
Assuming we get all the money in place and we actually build model stations like Sagana, the question will still remain, can we effectively police? As I stand here, your guess is as good as mine, and the issue is, I don't think we can effectively still police, even if we are given all the resources in this world, unless we tackle transformation of the culture of both the communities and the police.
In the coastal region, the decomposing body of a businesswoman has been discovered inside a septic tank in a Malindi hotel. Police say the Malindi hotelier was reported missing 3 days ago. Her devastated employees watched in disbelief as the police retrieved the body from the septic pit of her own hotel. KTN's Malaki Villa reports.
Workers of this hotel woke up to a shocking revelation that their boss had been murdered and her body dumped inside this septic pit. Hours later, the body of 52-year-old Lillian Mwikali, the owner of this hotel, was retrieved. According to Malindi District Criminal Investigation Officer John Ndungu, Lillian is suspected to have been killed Sunday before her body was dumped in the septic pit of Sailfish Club restaurant. Her lawyer, Maurice Kilonzo, confirmed that there has been a row with regards to the hotel's ownership and that his efforts to reach Lillian Saturday bore no fruit. So he reported to police that Lillian could be missing.
Mnamo Jumatatu tulijaribu kuwasiliana naye lakini hatukumpata kwa sababu tulikuwa tunataka aswe affidavits kuhusu maneno mengine ambayo tulikuwa tunataka aseme kulingana na hiyo kesi, lakini hatukumpata. Hiyo siku nikatuma wakili wangu kuja hapa Sailfish, lakini hakuruhusiwa kuingia hapa Sailfish.
Investigations today led the police to this room in the hotel where they spotted some blood stains leading them to the septic sewer. This man remains the key suspect in the murder of the business lady based on the dispute he is alleged to have been having with Lillian. Him and 6 other suspects are currently in police custody as investigations continue. Mala Kivila, KTN Live at 1.
Truly disturbing incident indeed. To politics, Imenti Central MP Gitobwe Manyara has told off the Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta over his alleged recent remarks that politicians from Mount Kenya should join the TNA party or perish politically. However, the TNA party leader earlier this week distanced himself from the remarks, saying they were a misrepresentation of his speech.
Speaking at his Meru home while meeting a section of former freedom fighters, Imenti South Member of Parliament Gitobwe Manyara said attempts to lure people into parties through threats cannot bear fruits.
Sisi kama vijana ambao baba zetu unaona hapa, tukiwa wazee ambao sasa wamekuwa wazee wakipigania uhuru wa pili, hatuwezi kukubali na Uhuru aelewe hata tisha mtu yoyote kumwambia atapotea. Yeye aheshimu katiba yetu.
Uhuru is accused of making the threatening statement while addressing a political rally in Laikipia last weekend. However, the TNA party leaders have dismissed the allegations, saying they are not a true representation of what he said. Getobu further hinted on his planned defection to ODM, maintaining that he still supports the Prime Minister Raila Odinga, but still awaits Raila's plans for the Meru community.
I have no doubt that if he continues with his reformist agenda, if he has a reform agenda for Meru, if he has an agenda for Meru as he has assured me he has, and he announces it, he will be Kenya's next president, and I'll be very happy to support him.
Elsewhere, in her three-day tour of Nyamira and Kisii counties, NARC Kenya presidential aspirant Martha Karua cautioned Kenyans against electing leaders facing charges of crimes against humanity at the International Criminal Court at The Hague. Karua says that electing either TNA presidential candidate Uhuru Kenyatta or URP's William Ruto will have a negative effect on the country.
Muhimu kabisa ni kazi ya kulinda Kenya. Je, mtawajiri watu wako na kesi nje ya nchi wawe wanafuatana kwenda huko na Kenya isimame mwezi mmoja au mbili?
Meanwhile, the National Alliance Party Country Coordinating Committee is currently liaising with its headquarters to mobilize supporters before drawing a campaign program for the party's presidential aspirant Uhuru Kenyatta. Through the party's organizing secretary Patrick Chande, the committees will be mandated to organize rallies in their respective areas.
We have the feel and the heartbeat of the people. We are confident that with your support, with the support of the grassroots throughout the country, we are going to form the next government.
The party is also holding consultations in regards to the nomination fees, which some aspirants felt was too high. However, the party has decided to reduce the nomination fees by 50% for any women, youth and disabled persons who wish to vie for any seat on its ticket. Eric Njoka, KTN, live at 1.
The official residence of the Vice President cost the taxpayer an estimated £500 million shillings. The construction of the palatial home began about 7 years ago, and today President Mwai Kibaki officially opens the residence. And should Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka opt to move in 4 months to the elections, he will be the first owner of that residence. Our reporter Joy Doreen Bira is at the commissioning, and she brings us the latest. Joy?
Thanks a lot, Edith Kimani. I am standing right in the compound of the Vice President. That is the residence of the Vice President of Kenya. And, well, as it appears, a number of dignitaries have already arrived, including the Vice President himself, who is the host, and the chief guest, who is the Commander-in-Chief of Kenya, President Mwai Kibaki. And, well, he's just being shown some of the facilities, some part of the facility, and thereafter he's meant to, tour the entire facility. But let's also, get into the details of this facility. The residence of the Vice President sits on a 10-acre piece of land. And, well, it actually has the main residence. It has the staff houses that do include the security block as well as the staff wing. And among other offices, it also has the main office of the Vice President that is complete with a media center. And, well, we are actually looking at the fact that Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, like you said, is the first Vice President to, reside at this residence. And, of course, not to forget that, it commenced in 2003. And right from 2003, around April, where about 387 million Kenya shillings was spent on constructing this residence. Just a few months ago, the Ministry of Public Works, was at about 85% completion of the residence. And today, where I stand, it seems like everything is done, 100% complete. And I happen to have had a chit-chat with the Vice President himself, and he put it to me very clear that, he is actually standing, or he's going to be owning this residence for just a short while. But he made it clear that he's not going to, stay in it, because he just has about 3 months to the elections. And therefore, that means that, people's attention is being drawn to the fact that you know, he might be, you know, very anxious to reside at the residence and, you know, all that talk. But then he put it to me very clear that he is not going to occupy this residence. As it appears, there's only 3 months to the 2013 elections. But well, we already have President Mwai Kibaki at the residence, and he's about to, you know, make appearance where the dignitaries are seated. And well, we'll be bringing you more details in that regard. But as of now, he is still being shown the facility and where what belongs where. And well, we'll just put it clear that it's a 10-acre piece of land. And well, back in 2003, Mark Wamalwa was meant to be the first vice president to have occupied this residence. And well, it appears, God rest his soul, he happened to have passed on. And then, well, it appears now that Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka happens to be, you know, the first vice president to occupy this residence. Let's look at the schedule here. We're meant to have quite a number of speeches where His Excellency Mwai Kibaki is meant to plant a ceremonial tree, and then later on His Excellency the President will unveil a commemorative plaque. His Excellency will also cut a ribbon to officially, you know, open the residence of the Vice President. Thereafter, he will sign the visitor's book, and according to the schedule as well, His Excellency the President is meant to go on a very conducted tour of the entire facility and know that, you know, this is where the Vice President of the next Kenya is going to be residing. Well, thank you very much, Edith Kimani. That's it. That's all I can give for now. But the dignitaries are still arriving, and when we have those speeches, we'll make sure that you get, you know, just a bit of what is happening right here. To my left, we actually have the choir of Lucy Kibaki that is singing very joyful songs, and we'll also give you the details of that. But for now, that's all I can give you at the moment. Edith Kimani, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joy Doreen Bira, attempting to give us a 360 view of what is happening at the official commissioning of the Vice President's residence. Of course, Joy has outlined a very long itinerary which is about to take place, and all the details will be coming to you in our subsequent bulletins. But in Central Province, the Minister for Special Programs, Esther Murugi, has once again asked the integrated IDPs camping at Ruringo grounds in Nyeri, and who have been there for a month now, to go back to their regions if they are to get any help from the government. The IDPs who held a protest march from Ruringo to the offices of the Provincial Commissioner insisted that they would not budge until they got a chance to air their grievances with the provincial administration. The IDPs were initially denied entry but later allowed to speak to the Deputy PC, Francis Silla, who sought to have a meeting with the IDP's representative. Esther Murugi, who is also MP for Nyeri Town, attended the closed-door meeting and later addressed the media, where she reiterated that the IDPs would not be helped until they head back to their former regions.
We have been in the open for nearly a month now, with all the rain, with all the cold, with a lot of hunger, a lot of sickness, and we thought within a week, 2 weeks at most, maybe 3 weeks, our matters would be sorted. It is a month now down the line. We haven't had any confirmed indication that our welfare is being taken care of.
I can see some names here don't even have IDs. So how do I verify somebody who doesn't have an identification?